Welcome back. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramki. Soon things are moving so quickly here, and we're talking open relationships, the death of monogamy. Can we really have an open relationship? In light of all that's happening, you know, in Trinidad, it's considered a Trini thing to have more than one woman. But I can't even say it's a male-dominated thing, because women are as guilty as men are as it relates to our culture and giving all the love. Now, the concept of marriage, one partner till death do us part. Some people have actually accepted that, okay, you can have other people, don't embarrass me in the end. And these arrangements seem to be working for some people, but really, is it working? And all of this stems from a conversation Jada Pinkett Smith had, where she described her relationship as open. What does that mean? Joining us, psychologist Daryl Joseph. Daryl, good morning. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Here, ma'am. Fine, thanks. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
What's an open relationship?
All right. It's a relationship where the two partners allow other persons, usually to be involved in a sexual way with either or both partners in the relationship. It's an agreement. It's an agreed way.
So it cannot exist if one partner is doing it. Both partners have to do it.
Not necessarily. And that gets into some of the difficulties with the entire idea, because each couple that decides to do this has to decide exactly what are the terms and conditions, whether both partners are going to be involved, whether one partner is going to be involved, whether both the other partner has to know, whether they don't have to know, who it has to be. There's all sorts of minds through that minefield.
Now, this gray area that has erupted in our society, because it's existing, and you know, when we spoke yesterday, I know of women in relationships who basically are married and they stay for children or for economic reasons.
Which is really unfortunate.
And their partner would be unfaithful, and they would think, well, that's just how it is.
Yes.
And I will accept that as long as the person doesn't do it to embarrass me, as long as they don't take this other person to the places we go to. Those
people have been abused into submission. Okay? They've accepted what should not be permissible and what should not be acceptable for so long, and to such an extent that they now agree that, look, this is my best option. I agree to deal with this rather than to get what is really due to me.
Does monogamy even have a chance in a society like ours?
Yeah, it does. It definitely does, right? One of the problems with monogamy is that people are very selfish. People focus a lot on themselves and what they want, and the idea of giving way to somebody else, the idea of putting myself second and sacrificing for somebody else, it seems almost like an outdated idea. Unfortunately, that very same idea is what is required for monogamy to succeed and for relationships to succeed.
I've heard people say that I love this person, but I just can't be faithful to that person. You hear all kinds of things. Is it even possible to be like that?
You do hear all kinds of things. The same way how you hear people say, I can't stop eating, so I'm going to be fat for the rest of my life. Or I'll never finish my education because I can't study. So people make up all sorts of reasons as to why they can't face a particular challenge that might be difficult for them, but a challenge that maybe they should be facing.
But you know, we ask about the concept of one partner till death do us part. And in light of everything that we see, is that still possible? Is it still realistic? Is it practical?
Yeah, I think it's still realistic. It's, well, practical for many different reasons. We have the medical reasons, first of all, if you want to take it from the lowest particular point. I don't know that anybody wants to be wondering what's coming to bed with them every night because they don't know where their partner has been, and so on. Even in open relationships, some of the challenges that people in them face include things like jealousy. Okay, always wondering if the next person is going to be, their partner is going to like the next person more than them or want to be with them and, you know, replace them and whatnot. There's always the chance that people may not agree on exactly what the terms and conditions should be. People get very specific with these things, and you wouldn't believe how specific.
I look at the term open relationship, and I really don't share very well. So I don't understand how it works. And I really was taken aback when I heard the interview. Now, her basic thing is that they have a long marriage, one of the longest standing marriages in Hollywood. Yeah. And people asked her the secret, and she said, you know, it's kind of an open relationship. As long as Will is okay to look at himself in the mirror, and he's fine, and he can look at himself and justify what he's done, she's not going to put rules on him.
Yes, right. Now, it requires an amazing amount of openness, communication, and trust to be able to pull this thing off. Because you're basically going against human nature. Human nature is to be possessive and to want to hold on to what is yours. You look at a little, I have a 16-month-old daughter, and she's playing with some little thing, and you grab it away from her, and she throws a tantrum. That's instinct. She didn't learn that anywhere. So people naturally want to hold on to who their partner is. So you have to be mature enough, first of all, to be able to deal with that and not to get jealous at the idea of somebody else maybe even being, you know, more handsome, more beautiful, better, more skillful, I don't know, all right? It's a lot of different things that have to be dealt with.
Is it a prevalent part of our society?
No. This part of the world, no.
So it's just horning. Or being unfaithful. What do I say? The local I mean, I don't understand it.
Horning and an open relationship are not the same thing. All right?
So
because horning usually is something done in secret, and there's no agreement from the other partner. All right?
Now, in terms of, this is a question from our Twitter, in terms of how much time you share with one partner, etc., how do you determine that? If you say, okay, we're going to have an open relationship, I can't be with you right now for X, Y, Z reason. I want to marry you eventually, because I've heard men say that. I'll marry you eventually, but on this time, I'm going to take my time. How do you determine, how do you allocate your time? That's a perfect example of the kind of trips and traps that you have to go through when you're trying to enter this thing. You have to be very, listen, I have,
I have seen couples who have been as specific as what acts can be performed in the bedroom with another partner versus what acts cannot be performed. It's gotten that specific. Because one partner may feel that, that particular thing is for me, and I don't want anybody there. So it gets really, really detailed, really, really specific. That's what I said. There's a minority of people, and I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong. You can call Father Taylor and Harvey, and they can talk
and they
about
can
that,
give you the preaching part.
They can talk about what's right and what's wrong, right? But what I'm saying is, there's a very, very tiny percentage of the population that could even consider doing this. The majority of population, I think, especially in our part of the world and in TNT, this would not fly.
Now, considering how unfaithful our society is, at this time, and we're looking at all of the vices, all that we see, the multitude of women, temptation is always there.
Yes.
Is it not simply better to do this than to get horn?
No, you see, I've seen the effects of being unfaithful in a relationship, in a marriage, and I've seen the effects not only on the partner who was not unfaithful, but also if any children are involved, and extended family. And because of the devastating effects, it's not something that I could ever, with good conscience, I could ever say, yeah, we should legalize that or, make it okay to do it.
Looking at the fact that this occurs and it's happening, when Jada Pinkett Smith says that as long as he's okay with what he can do, and she spoke of the fact that she's not going to put rules on him, I'm not going to say...
Which I don't even really understand.
How does that work?
Yeah, I think that's like one of those things that, people say and you say, oh yeah, right, and then afterwards you scratch your head and
the reality of it.
What does that actually mean?
How do you actually make a monogamous relationship work? And I have to ask this question because in light of everything that's happened, I think monogamy actually is it's extremely rare.
It's difficult. It is difficult. Especially, again, in our culture where people are so close and, there's a lot of contact, constant contact and mixing and mingling, close contact and so on. But it begins, first of all, with a commitment, and a serious commitment. If you really are committed to another person and you understand the terms of your contract, because marriage is a contract, all right? Even a serious relationship, let's say it's a contract. If you understand and really are committed to those terms, you will do what is necessary to guard your relationship with that person. So, and guarding usually involves not doing certain things, not getting involved in certain things, whether it is conversations, places, types of activity. You have to actually guard your relationship. You can't be out there like, you're a single person and first skirt that passes, you're suiting and, trucking, as they say, and doing it. You have to guard it. You have to really, be serious about it and make sure that you don't put yourself out there for people to get the wrong idea. So
this title of open relationship is just simply a free pass for me to enjoy it all and not be committed?
That's what it wants to sell itself as, but like I said, it's a lot more complicated and a lot more... it's a lot trickier than that. What do
you do in a situation where women accept that a male is unfaithful for economic reasons and stays and says, I'm not going to shake things up?
Yeah. If the person is talking to me, I am going to try my best because they're coming to me because they're not happy. So we'll define what is happy for them and see how we can get them to that state.
Is it ever acceptable? Having this open relationship with more than one partner?
There are some people who make it acceptable. Couples have to decide what's best for them.
You have to decide what's best for you. It goes against human nature, but it seems to be something that's happening. I'm Hema Ramsden. We've come to the end of this edition of the Early Morning Show. On behalf of everyone, have a safe and blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow morning, God's willing. Bye.